Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Health in Your Hands. My name is Dr. David Ajibade with the Brain and Body Foundation, and today we have a very, very special guest. But before I go ahead and introduce her and begin the main meat of our topic today, I want to remind you that this is not just another health program. No, it isn't. This is about helping and addressing Africans and Nigerians in particular about the health issues that are pertinent to them. It's about helping you understand what it takes to live a long, healthy life. And I feel this is one of the reasons why we partnered along with the NTA and, again, with the Federal Ministry of Health to bring this information over to you. Because too much of the time, and you will see this as we go on in our discussion, too much of the time people don't take their health, the health of their minds, the health of their brains, the health of their bodies seriously enough, and they suffer dire consequences for that. So again, it's about you and about what you can do about your health in collaboration with your healthcare professional. Remember, it's your body and it is your responsibility. So we have the honor, really, to have on the show today a very, very distinguished guest. And I got to tell you, I was lucky to get her on because she's on her way to work and she just had to squeeze out time for us. So without much ado, I'm going to introduce her. Her name is Professor Felicia Anuma. She's a professor of medicine and endocrinology and also Dean of Faculty of Clinical Sciences, College of Health Sciences, University of Abuja. She is also the Nigerian representative of D-Foot International. Professor Anuma, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
We appreciate it. So we're going to get right into it. D-Foot International, what exactly is that?
Well,
first of all, as if you don't have enough things you're doing. You're a professor, you're active in clinical sciences, in clinical medicine, and also you're a dean, so you have to do all the administrative work as well. And then you decided to add on top of all this, along with all your teaching and your trainings and your seminars all over the place, D-Foot International. How much time do you actually get to sleep?
Well, I bless God for the grace He has given me to get this far. We are doing our best in all the areas you have mentioned, by the grace of God.
Thank God. Thank God. So D-Foot International, what is that?
Well, it is an international organization concerned with diabetes foot as a complication of diabetes. And they have country representatives from virtually every country of the world. Mm-hmm. And so Nigeria has a representation also there.
And what exactly is the whole point? Why was it necessary to establish such a
very
program?
Necessary because diabetes foot disease is one of the, very serious complications of diabetes, and we have our own fair share here in Nigeria anyway. And it's one of the most expensive complications of diabetes, and it takes the greatest toll, on the persons affected. Because, if you lose a limb, that means a lot to the person, to the family members, and so on. So it's such a very, very grievous complication of diabetes that there's a need to have an organization creating awareness and also improving care of diabetes foot, so that at the end of the day, patients don't lose their limbs and then they become, helpless.
All right, makes sense. But how serious is diabetes, for one, and then, of course, diabetic foot in Nigeria?
Well, diabetes is a serious disease. We should be plain about it. It's a complex disease. And unfortunately, it's also a silent disease until complications arise. And diabetes simply can be said to be a situation where the body loses the ability to utilize glucose. As simple as that. Unfortunately, the problem starts years back.
Okay.
And this individual can be in that state for 10, 15 years without knowing that there's anything wrong, without feeling that there's something wrong. But unfortunately, it is causing quiet damages in all the organs of the body. The truth is this: when blood sugar is not normal, everywhere blood gets to gets affected. And you know, blood gets to every part of our body. If not, we won't be alive.
Right.
If blood doesn't get to the eye goes blind. If blood doesn't get to the heart, there's a heart attack. If blood doesn't get to the brain, that you well know, there's a stroke. So everywhere blood gets harassed with abnormal level of blood sugar.
Why is that a problem? Because I think our viewers, they say, okay, big deal. Blood sugar is high. Same thing, I think it's the same attitude they have towards hypertension. Oh, big deal is over 140 over 90. Big deal. I'm not feeling any pain. I'm okay. I can sleep well. I'm doing my work well. So they don't really take it seriously. Help us understand why high blood sugar is a problem.
Well, it is a problem because, you know, every substance we have in our body, there's a normal range.
Okay.
And once the value gets beyond that normal range, then it begins to destroy. So for diabetes, blood sugar is high, persistently high. It begins to destroy every organ of the body. Take the kidneys, for example.
Right, right.
The kidneys gradually get destroyed with abnormal blood sugar because there are changes that occur now in the blood vessels, in the organ itself. And at the end of the day, the kidney no longer working. Now, this person may not even know initially that there's a problem with the kidneys because the way God made the body, there's very big reserve. Before a complaint comes, the organ has tried to compensate.
Right, right.
Okay? So it is when the problem overwhelms the compensation of the organ that the individual begins now to feel something. So for the kidneys, when it gets to a situation where it fails, maybe that's when the person now realizes that, okay, my eyes are swelling in the morning, or my legs are swelling, or the person not passing enough urine, or what's happening, now gets to see a doctor. And then they check and find out that the kidneys are no longer working well.
And that's when the real problems begin.
Yes, and you now discover that the damage to the kidney is because of diabetes.
Interesting. We're going to take a short break now, folks, and we're going to get back after that because I really think we need to talk about that some more because, as you know, especially in Abuja, there are lots of dialysis going on, and we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. I'm here with Professor Anuma, and we're talking about diabetes, specifically complications like diabetic foot. And just before the break, we're talking about dialysis and how that's kidney failure is one of the end stages of complications of diabetes. One of the things that we're talking about during the break was that too much of the time, Prof, patients take it lightly, they're diabetic, because they don't have any pain, they are seeing clearly, they have no vision issues, no complications. They don't take it seriously, even when their doctors tell them what to do. And in the long run, as time progresses, they eventually get kidney disease, and eventually they need a dialysis or a transplant. And what I was talking with you about, what we were talking about before this started was that I thought it was mainly the poor people who got to this stage, that the middle class and the higher income earners would definitely have good access to doctors, and they'll be able to they'll be able to buy their medication, and they'll be able to do what the doctor says. But you said you don't seem to agree.
Thank you. Well, the issue is this, that being literate is not the same as being educated. Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. Yes, an individual can be literate, but he's not educated as far as his health is concerned, how to be in charge. He's not, but he's literate. Okay? So that's why empowerment is so important. Knowledge is power, and Nigerians need to realize that and be interested in learning about how to take charge of their health. Right now, it's not really the interest of many Nigerians. I mean, in fact, some will tell you it is something that will kill somebody one day. So he brushes it aside and goes on.
Wait, you're telling me that you tell a patient, you lay this out?
No, not a patient now, but apparently looking healthy people, for example, who at the end of the day you find that they are not truly healthy. There will be one thing or the other wrong. I mean, particularly like these diseases we are talking about, they are lifestyle diseases. Like I named it in my book that you have a copy, that I can see here. They are lifestyle diseases. They are diseases we acquire from the way we live our lives. Now, so it is so important for people to know, how do I live my life in such a way that I can maintain health? That's the issue. That's the crux of the matter. So, Nigerians need to know that they have a lot, they should be interested in learning, in getting empowered, in getting knowledgeable as regards how they live, so that they can live well, they can maintain health and age gracefully.
I like that part too.
You see, the issue is this: when we are young, we are on the healthy side of the spectrum of life. But you see, with age, there are certain changes that occur necessarily in the body that will naturally tilt the body towards the disease side of the spectrum of life. What do I mean? As we age, blood pressure will tend to be rising, even without a family history. As we age, blood sugar will tend to be rising, even without a family history. As we age, cells will tend to go out of order. Then the issue of cancer will surface.
Right.
Now, if we don't want to go this natural way, there is a need for behavior change at some point. How do you change behavior if you are not empowered? If you are not knowledgeable enough to do it, how do you do it? That's the issue.
So, knowledge is the key thing.
Yeah.
But the question is, and I know you've done so much in this regard, you've gone to schools, you've gone to establishments, you've gone here to organizations to instruct them on these things. Okay, granted, some people, if they've done tests and they're okay, they're probably not going to take any action. I mean, it's not right, because in the Western world, people continuously, in fact, part of their employment is that they have to have 2 checkups, or 1 checkup a year, 2 dental, cleaning, have your teeth cleaned twice every year, and all those things. Of course, we know the teeth and the gums are extremely important. We don't have that in Nigeria yet. But in the absence of that, what can be done? Does it need fiat, a directive from the Minister of Health, or from the President, or from the House of Assemblies, or from the Senate, to say, these are the things that everybody needs to do? Because I think we are more prone as black people and as Nigerians to these conditions I just mentioned. For whatever reason, I think we are more prone, and the statistics actually bear that to be true. What needs to be done, do you think?
Well, it's still to see how we can empower Nigerians as far as knowledge is concerned. I mean, there's a need for sensitization and all that. But I think we are starting somewhere, like this program, for example, trying to teach Nigerians, about their health. We still need to go on. We need to, kind of persevere and go on with, having programs that will empower, Nigerians in this area of health.
Absolutely. So just before the break, back to this this topic of dialysis and kidney end-stage renal failure. As we know, in Abuja, we just talked about it, how We have so many people, in fact, people would never believe, that are on dialysis. It's becoming a really, almost a fashion here, unfortunately. How expensive is a dialysis? Before we talk about transplant.
I'm always saying that when a diagnosis of, kidney failure is made on a Nigerian, considering our circumstances, is equivalent to putting a death sentence on the forehead of that Nigerian.
Really?
Yeah, it's equivalent to that, because when you look at what is going to take for this individual to be able to, have health averagely and go around, do things, when you look at what it takes. For example, I think the average cost of dialysis, average per session in Abuja, for example, I think is 25,000 or even 30,000 naira. And if kidneys are no longer working and this individual has to have dialysis, he needs to have dialysis 3 times a week, 4 hours per session. So that 3 times a week already will be like 75,000 naira. And then by the time you add his medications, because even though he's having dialysis, he needs other medications,
right.
For example, like erythropoietin, that he may have to be taking twice a week or weekly to be able to produce red cells,
right.
To prevent anemia.
Right.
By the time you add the other things, this person on the average may need like 100,000 naira to live per week. That's a very expensive life. And how many Nigerians can afford that?
But are they warned about this? Like, let's say a person's blood sugar is a little bit high. Are they warned? Do doctors take them through this trajectory?
It depends on who they see.
Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, diabetes care in this country is mainly, at the primary and secondary healthcare level. By the time patients are getting to us in the tertiary institutions, a lot of problem has already occurred.
Tertiary institutions like National Hospital,
National Hospital,
your
teaching
hospitals and all that.
A lot of problem, has already occurred. So what if the patients see diabetes specialists, definitely there's what we call diabetes education, which is like an ocean. It's a big bag, because we need to discuss with the patient what the disease is all about, why the person must treat it and make sure blood sugar is normal. We teach them about lifestyle changes. We teach them about food care. There's what we call food care education. We teach them about nutrition. We teach them about exercise. There's a lot that we empower them with to make them be in charge.
They don't get this in the Nigerian
unfortunately, it's not everywhere that they get this, and that's where majority goes. So that's part of the reason why, we have a lot of complications from
Interesting.
diabetes.
Interesting. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and we've been having this really, really interesting discussion. I think it's crucial, really, for Nigerians about diabetes and the education around diabetes, the importance of that. And before the break, we talked about how diabetic education is given at the tertiary level, at the teaching hospitals and the research centers, where people like Professor Anuma will talk to the patient and give them the details. They will bring in a nutritionist, to bring in a dietitian, maybe the physiotherapist, and all these people to really help with the patient. But that's only a tiny fraction of the patients that gets this kind of exposure. So, according to you, Prof, we don't have this at the secondary, primary healthcare centers. We were talking about the possibility, I think you were saying something about the WHO collaboration to try and address this.
Yeah, there's a program called WHO PEN, that is World Health Organization Package for Essential NCDs, and we know what the essential NCDs are. So there's a program like that that the Federal Ministry of Health is undertaking in collaboration with the World Health Organization to train healthcare providers at the primary healthcare level on what to do, how to handle, you know, the essential non-communicable diseases that we have. If a patient comes with high blood sugar to the primary healthcare level, what to do, high blood pressure, what to do, sickle cell disease in crisis comes, what to do, you know.
Very good.
So there is a program on that way, and the training manual has already been developed, which I was privileged to be part of. So I'm sure this year, you know, that will be implemented.
Oh, fantastic.
You know. So at the secondary healthcare facilities, well, there are general hospitals where at least we have consultants, physicians, and then there are also general hospitals, secondary healthcare, that have endocrinologists or diabetologists. So in such centers, of course, you know, some of this education will definitely take place, you know, because the factors responsible for these lifestyle diseases or NCDs, they are general to all. The same reason why an individual becomes hypertensive is the same reason why that individual will become diabetic.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So they are general, they are common. There are quite a number that are common to all. So even if it's a cardiologist, for example, at the secondary healthcare facilities, we'll be able to educate the patient to such a level where at least the person has some knowledge as regards how to prevent. Even when the person is already hypertensive or diabetic, at least how to prevent the complications from setting in, you know. So,
but endocrinologists, as we discussed, they are not in large numbers in this country. An estimate for how many endocrinologists, trained endocrinologists practicing in Nigeria?
Well, maybe we're about 100, but we have increased. I mean, we are increasing. So, and I'm hopeful that we will continue to increase.
100 is really, really low compared to how many, we're knocking on 200 million now in Nigeria, and quite a good percentage of us are affected by these conditions we just talked about.
Yes. Well, the pharmaceutical companies also try, particularly those ones, both national and international companies that, you know, produce drugs for diabetes treatment. They also try to empower GPs. They run a lot of seminars, a lot of programs to empower GPs as well on, you know, proper management or quality management of diabetes. And most of the time they call us, the endocrinologists, as resource persons for such programs.
Okay. So the efforts are being made. Hopefully this program that you just mentioned about with WHO, hopefully it will really take off and it will get to the remote areas where they need to be gotten to. Other than the kidney complications, what other complications are we supposed to be concerned about?
Like we said, anywhere blood gets to and blood sugar is not normal, the place gets harassed. So diabetes affects virtually every organ of the body. The brain, the eyes, I mean, the heart, the kidneys, the nerves, the blood vessels, everywhere. And of course, it is affectation of the nerves and the blood vessels that is responsible for the diabetes foot that we mentioned earlier. You know, once the foot is not the blood vessels get blocked, so the foot is not getting enough blood supply, or the nerves get damaged by the high level of blood sugar and all that. So that results in, you know, that makes the foot now liable to injury, infection sets in, and then gangrene, and at the end of the day, we have to cut the limb. In fact, right now, I have a mechanical engineer in the hospital who had nerve damage from diabetes, and instead of coming to hospital, called some native, whatever, and they hit... A mechanical engineer? Yeah, they hit charcoal, and they asked him to put the foot there, and he got a 3rd-degree burns that went gangrenous, and came, and we had to amputate him.
This is a mechanical engineer, so it's not a question of literacy.
That's why I said literacy is different from education. Oh,
goodness. Prof, we still need you back, please. When next we're here, Professor Anuma and I will be talking a lot about diet and the Nigerian diet and why that could be a problem, but we'll leave that till next time. So just stay tuned, and we will see you next week. Thank you.